ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning, good noon, good evening, depending on wherever you are tuning in to this digital telecast. My name is Frisia and I am elated to be back as your host for the Apollo CV Awards 2022. The CV ecosystem is undoubtedly a big and complex universe and is getting bigger and heavier, literally, with each passing year. As the only dedicated title for the CV ecosystem, Commercial Vehicle magazine from Next Gen Publishing is humbly giving the CV fleet and non-fleet side of the ecosystem its due recognition. Now, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it is our 13th edition already. You know what they say about 13? Lucky for some and not for others, but we truly believe that this is going to be a great edition. So let's kickstart our proceedings, and may I first call upon our keynote speaker for today. If data is the new oil, our keynote speaker owns a well. Mr. Anil Walson, Director, Knowledge Leader, Advanced Manufacturing and Mobility Industry Market at Ernst & Young, brings with him an immense passion for data, analytics, knowledge management, where he is known to constantly seek innovation, implement best-in-class practices, and make change palatable. Currently leading a multicultural team of analysts and knowledge managers that are spread across the US, Europe, and Asia, serving as clients as well as EY practitioners. In sectors as different as chalk and cheese, but somewhere with a very common connect, which is business. From aerospace and defense, industrial products, chemicals, automotive, transportation, and mobility as a service, over the last couple of decades, he has had the privilege of leading and working with fantastic people around the world to deliver some very thought-leading, data-driven research, analysis, and strategy products for the professional services as well as the advanced manufacturing and mobility sectors. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome onto our screens Mr. Anil Walson.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anil Walson. I'm the knowledge leader for the advanced manufacturing and mobility industry market at EY, and also the global lead analyst for automotive and transportation at EY. I would like to begin by thanking Next Gen Publishing Private Limited and the Commercial Vehicle magazine for inviting me to speak at the 13th Apollo Commercial Vehicle Awards 2022. My keynote address will essentially focus on two key themes: what's driving change across the mobility and transportation sectors, and what it means for companies across the ecosystem. We are living in unprecedented times, facing uncertainty on multiple fronts. We are still learning to live with a pandemic that has totally transformed our ways of living, working, and consuming products and services. We are still reeling from the economic costs and the horrors of the war in Ukraine. Globalization, as we have come to experience it in the last number of decades, is stalling as a consequence of protectionist measures from developed as well as emerging countries. Sustainability has become a top priority with pressures from consumers, governments, investors, and advocacy groups. Governments around the world have announced their commitments to a zero-emission future, either in law or draft legislation, as also reaffirmed at COP26. All of these factors has meant that while we are witnessing demand spikes from consumers around the world between COVID waves, it has surprised and surpassed supply across many sectors. Companies across the value chain are struggling to ramp up fast enough to meet demand. Result, inflationary price pressures across the board, from energy to raw materials, a shortage of key components like semiconductors, and bottlenecks to logistics and transportation infrastructure, to name just a few of the challenges. So what does this mean for mobility and transportation? Aside from the threats, it actually presents significant opportunity in the short and medium term, with the market projected to grow well over 10% globally in 2022 alone. The significant gap between demand and supply has actually created room for a variety of products and services. For instance, changing consumer preferences and the demand for instant delivery are driving the growth of quick commerce or hyperlocal delivery platforms. Last mile delivery has grown exponentially as consumers and customers are willing to pay a premium fee for prompt and efficient deliveries. As e-commerce volumes continue to grow, product returns is also rising at a rapid clip. We also see significant growth in cross-border shipping as better logistics, digital payment options make it easier and more secure. According to Forrester, cross-border purchases will actually comprise of 20% of the worldwide e-commerce market in 2022, with sales of over $627 billion. However, there are significant capacity constraints all around, from severe container shortages, port infrastructure bottlenecks, trucking capacity constraints, driver shortages, to the unavailability of warehousing and storage capacities. So, how are companies across the transportation ecosystem responding to these market dynamics? I see leading companies adopting various strategies, but mostly there are four broad themes emerging. The first is about focus on building enterprise resilience. The second is about accelerating digitalization in products, services, and across the enterprise. The third is about catching up on sustainability. And last but not the least, it's all about speeding up innovation. On resilience, in the short term, we see commercial vehicle manufacturers working really hard to try and keep their plants running and securing their supply chains. Clearly, for instance, the war in Ukraine has meant that a number of manufacturers have had to suspend their sales and production operations in Russia. They've had to adapt their sourcing strategies and minimize their exposure to tiers of supplies that are coming from the region. Another strategy we see manufacturers adopting is cross-sourcing, where they look to supply vehicles or parts from any of their production facilities to any of their target markets. To tackle lead times, some manufacturers are adopting a postponement strategy where control units, chips, are being removed from finished vehicles that are not yet sold and installed in vehicles on order. We are also seeing greater willingness of automakers, suppliers, logistics companies, and governments to share more data to improve visibility across the supply chain. Companies are also passing on the increase in logistics and transportation costs to customers. Logistics providers, for instance, are including a war surcharge on shipments, including to Asia, Latin America, and Africa. As the cost of manufacturing increases, we are also seeing commercial vehicle manufacturers increasing sticker prices. For instance, in India, we've seen some companies announce price increases in the range of 2.5%. But globally, in off-road commercial vehicles, we've seen that go all the way up to 10%. There is also greater demand for aftermarket support, including connected services. Now, majority of the fleet managers, dispatchers, and truck drivers in US, China, Europe already have some level of connected services in their trucks. But fleets are emphasizing on service level agreements that guarantee product uptime, and OEMs are finding value in bundling services that can proactively support their fleets and their equipment. Now, this also brings us to the adoption of digitalization across the organization. Logistics and transportation companies are pilot testing technologies like digital twinning to stress test supply chains. We also see applications of AI and machine learning to predict capacity needs, optimize routes, and improve last mile delivery efficiency. There are more blockchain applications coming online to give stakeholders greater visibility and even eliminate intermediaries. On sustainability, almost all the major logistics companies have actually pledged to achieve carbon neutrality between 2040 and 2050. This directly translates into how they are adopting electrification to transform their fleets. So the demand for sustainable and alternate fuel vehicles is higher than ever before. Now, in the short term, clearly commercial vehicle manufacturers need a portfolio of powertrains to meet the diverse needs across geographies and applications. While markets like Asia and Latin America will see a phase of strong demand for alternate fuel such as natural gas and flex fuel vehicles, demand for battery electric vehicles will grow in these regions over the medium term. Now, North America and Europe, on the other hand, are witnessing an appetite for battery electric and hydrogen-powered vehicles, driven by cost of ownerships, better infrastructure, incentives, and even disincentives for fossil fuel-based vehicles. The significant increase in energy costs is also likely to accelerate the demand for electric and hydrogen vehicles across markets. Now, major manufacturers around the world, including most Indian manufacturers, have committed to a roadmap to shift their product portfolios dramatically towards electrification within the next decade. Last but not the least, on innovation. The transportation sector, including commercial vehicle manufacturing, has actually witnessed a significant number of new entrants in just the last decade, from new products or services to intermediating or even disintermediating to new business models. While traditional automakers are mostly self-reliant or partner with peers for developing electric or hydrogen powertrains, there is a growing need for them to collaborate with startups, technology companies for autonomous vehicles and networks. We have certainly seen a proliferation of pilots for autonomous vehicle use cases, such as automated last mile delivery services, platooning, retrofitting autonomous technologies, and also for transfer hubs. Now, the pandemic, the growing driver shortage, regulations such as hours of service is also driving interest in autonomous trucking and delivery services. In summary, I believe companies will actually need to learn to survive and thrive despite the uncertainties, as we've seen with some of practices by leading companies. Despite all of these challenges, a number of these companies are announcing good levels of profit margins, a reflection of the opportunities such times present. I would like to conclude by congratulating all the winners and nominees for the various award categories. Hope all of you have a great event and look forward to participating in person in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Walson, for that insightful and passionate address that sets the tone of the 13th edition of the Apollo CV Awards 2022. To kick off our formal proceedings, I'd now like to invite onto the stage Mr. Hoshang Bilumoria, founder and mentor at Next Gen Publishing Private Limited, as he comes and joins us for his welcome address.
A warm welcome to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 13th edition of the Commercial Vehicle Awards. Sadly, 2021 saw the same recessionary trends in the commercial vehicle industry as 2020. Particularly affected were the medium and heavy commercial segment. The demand for buses also took a nosedive. Things started looking up towards the end of the year, and 2022 is expected to be better. The industry continues to face challenges in terms of reducing carbon emissions and achieving electric mobility. The eminent jury had a formidable task before them, and as always, we have considered all aspects before taking their decisions. We are grateful to them. I extend my heartiest congratulations to the winners. We at NGPL are deeply grateful to our loyal sponsors, Mrs. Apollo Tyres, and I would like to convey our gratitude to Mr. Satish Sharma, President, Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa. We are also grateful to Shapoorji Pallonji Company for being associate sponsors and to Metric Global for being our knowledge partners. A word of thanks is also due to Avantium Advisors and to Frost & Sullivan, our technical partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bilumoria, for that wonderful address. And now we'd like to call upon Mr. Satish Sharma, President, the Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa, APMEA, Apollo Tyres Ltd, for his address.
A very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th edition of Apollo CV Awards. On behalf of Apollo Tyres, it's my privilege and honor to host this evening for all of you. The year ahead for all of us in the CV industry is one which can definitely be billed as a promising year ahead. With the GDP poised to grow at around 8% and a cyclical revival of the CV, the year ahead obviously is going to be a very fascinating one. But it comes along with its uncertainties. On one hand, the GDP is growing at 8%. On the other hand, what we are witnessing is steep inflation, only accentuated more by the Russia-Ukraine war. There are many sectors which are poised to grow handsomely. I was recently there in the UP market and spoke to a lot of end users. And these end users, which were associated with the infrastructure part of the economy, were looking at a 5x growth in their businesses in the coming years ahead. So there are sectors which are linked to the infrastructure, which are linked to the contact-intensive industry with the COVID getting behind us. These are the sectors which are poised to grow handsomely. On the other hand, when the inflation bites and the fleet economics undergoes a change, one does not know how the demand will pan out, whether it's going to moderate or it's going to really go through in the way that we are all anticipating. I'm sure all of us in this industry are, over the years, now learned to manage this volatility in our stride. Overall, however, I think that the year ahead will be, on taking everything into account, will be a very good one for all of us, and we should look forward to it. Also, I feel that many of the regulations that we have witnessed in the previous years are now more or less settled, whether it is the transition from BS4 to BS6, whether it is the advent of the axle load, which hit us very badly. All of this is behind us. The scrappage policy has been announced, and it would only have its tailwinds for us. So with all these things in the air, all of us having done our hard work, I am sure we all look forward to this year of FY23 with a lot more promise, but at the same time with a bit of caution. It's my privilege once again to look at the year which has gone behind, and many of you who have really out-exceeded your own expectations, and it's a privilege to recognize the winners tonight. So my heartiest congratulations on behalf of Apollo Tyres to all the winners, and please enjoy the event.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for your insightful address on the CV industry. And now we'd like to call upon Mr. Ashish Bhatia, Executive Editor, Commercial Vehicle Magazine, as he comes and joins us on the stage to share his thoughts on the nomination as well as the jury process that has led us to the grand finale of the Apollo CV Awards 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Billy Moria, for your constant guidance. I would like to start by thanking Apollo Tyres too for being a constant rubber-solid support for 13 consecutive years, treading this journey with us through thick and thin. The process began soon after the culmination of the previous successful edition. Some uncertainties had to be addressed with the third wave of COVID-19 playing a spoilsport at a crucial decision-making hour. With unanimous consent from the stakeholders of the CV industry, we call family, we chose to proceed with yet another digital edition to circumnavigate any remote possibility of disruption beyond our control. Gladly, things are looking up now, but for the Russia-Ukraine war crisis that has shaken the world. Team CV pays its respects to the martyrs and prays for peace and healing. It also stands by businesses looking to come out of this disruption stronger. For making the jury process a success, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank companies who came forward and for complying with due processes and timelines to qualify. It made for quite an engrossing jury process with our esteemed panel of jury members who without doubt lend an immense value addition to the process, given their diverse expertise. The winners are to be announced shortly, and looking back at the process, The nominees, backed by able corporate communication teams as a whole, can take immense pride in presenting their nominations with the best foot forward. Enough of talks. Why don't you take a look for yourself at some animated behind-the-scenes footage of the Apollo CV Awards 2022 Jury Meet AV. Watch out for the winners on the other side as suspense unfolds.
Wave Beats Music.
Thank you, Ashish. Looks like our jury members really enjoyed having their hands full and deep diving into this pool of nominations. Now, a little birdie tells me there was fierce competition, some close calls and some outright winners this year. All right, folks, it's time for us to get down to business. We are going to announce our first category for today, and that is EV of the Year. The first category draws attention to a world being shaped up by commercial battery electric vehicles. From once being looked as prospective protos, small EVs are fast proving their mettle. They're growing in their penetration, whether it's your urban metros to your tier towns, offering performances at par, if not higher, than conventional fuel-based vehicles. They're also offering a lower total cost of ownership. So let's take a look at the nominees this year.
The nominations for the category EV of the Year are Euler High Load EV, OSM Rage Plus Rapid EV, Piaggio Ape Extra FX,
And the winner is the Euler High Load EV. Our next category is Pickup of the Year. Pickups continue to hold their own with their enclosed cabins and their open cargo area, typically with low sides and a tailgate. Suited to haulage and transport of heavy loads, they address a very important segment with their utilitarian streak. Add a 4x4 and you have increased traction as well as stability at your disposal. And so this category had an outright winner, which happens to be the Tata Yodha 4x4. Our next category is the LCV Cargo Carrier of the Year. Coming out of steep degrowth in the pandemic-marred fiscal, light commercial vehicles, they continue to evolve. Driven by demand generation from segments like e-retail, this segment is seeing a very fast shift towards alternative fuels like CNG. It is being molded to meet customer requirements. So let's take a look at the nominees.
The nominations for the category LCV Cargo Carrier of the Year are Bharat-Benz 1917R, iShare Pro 2049 CNG, Mahindra Fureo 7 4-tire cargo, Mahindra Fureo 7 tipper, Mahindra Fureo 7 HD cargo, SML Isuzu Prestige GS 3335 dual cabin 10 feet, Tata 407G SFC CNG, Tata T.6 Ultra.
This year, the winner represents a culmination of 3 strong products that attempt to address a white space in the 6 to 7.5 ton GVW category, and in turn, they constitute a stronger range. And the winner is the Mahindra Fureo 7 range. In our next category, we are looking at the Large Truck Fleet Operator of the Year. The big boys of the logistics industry, well, they continue to strive for excellence in service, operations, and sustain a very strong balance sheet. Even in volatile times and with an undercurrent, they continue to leverage technology and adopt new practices to maintain high standards. Let's take a look at the nominees.
The nominations for the category Large Truck Fleet Operator of the Year are Allied ICD Services Limited, V-Trans India Limited, MP Enterprises and Associates Limited,
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the winner right on your screens. Our next category is the Small Fleet Operator of the Year. Now, contrary to their size, small fleet operators maintain exemplary standards in business and operations, standards that are almost always inversely proportionate to their size. Often faced with the daunting task of managing their business within limited means, the pandemic-marred fiscals have been a litmus test, with those surviving guaranteed to succeed in the future. We applaud the perseverance and invaluable contribution of these large-hearted small fleet operators. Let's take a look at the nomination AV.
The nominations for the category Small Fleet Operator of the Year are BM Road Lines Private Limited, PDP International Private Limited, Rishabh Bus Private Limited.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the winner right on your screens. Our next category is the ICV Cargo Carrier of the Year. Intermediate commercial vehicles address the void between light commercial vehicles and medium commercial vehicles. Deemed a value for money proposition for transporters, this category spans the 8.5 to 18.5 ton GVW products. With products that depict modernization of CVs, this year the products were scored on several criteria that includes technology, addressing customer requirements, and volumes as a testimony.
The nominations for the category ICV Cargo Carrier of the Year are Ashok Leyland Ecomet 1415 CNG, Ashok Leyland Ecomet Star Range, iShare Pro 2095 XP Plus CNG, iShare Pro 2114 XP CNG, iShare Pro 3019, Tata 1512G LPT CNG, Tata T.12 Ultra.
And the winner is the iShare Pro 2114 XP CNG. Our next category is the HCV Tractor Head of the Year. Dandy workhorses, the HCV tractor heads have gained in terms of GCW as part of the BS6 transition. About an ability to carry more, they leapfrogged in technology and an ability to deliver. Built to ensure better earning potential, they are powerful long-haul machines. This year, due consideration was also given to parameters like GCW, torque, and TCO improvement.
The nominations for the category HCV Tractor Head of the Year are Ashok Leyland Avatar 4825, Ashok Leyland Avatar 5525 4x2 Tractor, Bharat-Benz 4028 TT, Bharat-Benz 4228 RM Cab, Bharat-Benz 5428 TT, iShare Pro 6041, iShare Pro 6055, Volvo FM 420 4x2 Tractor, Mahindra Blazo X55 4x2 Tractor, Tata Signa 5530.S 6x4 with 36 cubic meter tip trailer.
And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is the Bharat-Benz 5428 TT. Our next category is Tipper of the Year. The tippers continue to address niche applications in areas like construction and municipality, just to name a few. Continuing to evolve, they offer higher productivity gains with their reliability, efficiency, and maneuverability. Let's see who the nominees are.
The nominations for the category Tipper of the Year are Ashok Leyland Avatar 2825 AMT Tipper 6x4, Ashok Leyland Avatar 2820 6x4 RMC, Tata Prima 2830.K Repto 9 cubic meter drum FBV.
And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is the Ashok Leyland Avatar 2820 6x4 RMC. Our next category is the M and HCV Tipper of the Year. M and HCV tippers are engineered to take the rough along with the smooth. They're engineered to carry heavy loads in areas like mining, quarrying, construction, as well as infrastructure. They are workhorses that employ modern technology, and they have that ability to be efficient, to be strong, as well as reliable. The search this year was to find the ideal fit for the long haulage.
The nominations for the category M and HCV Tipper of the Year are Ashok Leyland Avatar 4825 BGS Tipper 10x2 DTLA, Ashok Leyland Avatar 4825 BGS Tipper 10x4 DTLA, iShare Pro 8035 XM 26 box body, Tata Signa 3525.K Ultimax 23 cubic meter box ACTHU, Volvo FMX 460 8x433, Volvo FMX 460 8x4 tipper 20.3 cubic meter.
And the winner is the Avatar 4825 tipper 10x4 DTLA. Our next category is the L and ICV People Mover of the Year. The L and ICV People Movers, well, they continue to carve out a niche. They're keeping up with the changing needs of transportation. Tapping into emerging market positions, they are connecting to commuters with a renewed sense of duty. Found in forms like staff buses, tourist buses, municipal transport buses, L and ICV People Movers are driving changes in form as well as function. This year, the contested category had entries that clearly differentiated by their market acceptance. So let's see who those nominees are.
The nominations for the category L and ICV People Mover of the Year are Tata City Ride Prime LPO 1315-57 Turbotron, iShare Skyline 2090L, iShare Skyline Pro 3011L, iShare Skyline Pro E, iShare Skyline Pro Staff 3010 LCNG, Force Motors Traveller Monobus 41-seater, Tata Starbus 4/12 LEEV, Tata Ultra 10.2 CNG bus.
And the winner is the iShare Skyline Pro Staff 3010 LCNG. It's now time for the quote of the year. The year 2021 saw the introduction of sleeper coaches with some very interesting nominations, including India's first 13.5-meter coach that is indicative of the future direction of the CV industry. Addressing the exacting requirements of the operators and end users, they are modern and they are well engineered. With an acute understanding of the change that is taking place, they definitely are worthy of recognition. Let's have those nominees.
The nominations for the category Coach of the Year are iShare Intercity 4x2 sleeper coach. Tata Magna LPO 1822 69 13.5 meter. Volvo 9400 13.5 meter B8R 4x2 coach. Volvo 9400 B11R 6x2 sleeper coach.
And the winner is the 13.5 meter Volvo 9400 B8R 4x2 coach. Our next category is the Special Applications CV of the Year. CV applications can be highly diverse and they differ in terms of user productivity gains. An outcome of diverse technological inputs can mean different business propositions to different entities and people. Their application value, however, is irrefutable. Let's take a look at the nominees.
The nominations for the category Special Application CV of the Year are Ashok Leyland MITR Ambulance, iShare Pro 6035 TM, iShare Skyline Ambulance, Force Motors Ambulance Range, Furio 11 Fuel Bowser, Tata 1109G LPT CNG Cascade Application, Tata Anti-Smoke Gun Fogger 1212 LPT, Tata ILCV Trucks COVID Vaccine Transportation.
So this year, the application that caught the attention of the jury was one that continues to outshine the competition with a dominant streak in different guises. The winner, ladies and gentlemen, is the Force Motors Ambulance Range. It's now time for the Special Application Builder of the Year. Behind every CV application is an application builder. Application builders offer customers the choice of a custom-built body on the OEM chassis of their choice at effective price points. The Special Application Builder community has come of age with some blurring of lines of classification as an OEM. This year, application builders who have mastered the business with volumes to show are
The nominations for the category Special Application Builder of the Year are Aryan Pumps and Enviro Solutions Private Limited, Randhava Motors,
The winner this year differentiated itself with globally benchmarked processes that cater to mass products on one end of the spectrum and high-end export-oriented products that are built on world-class platforms right here in India. And the winner is Aryan Pumps and Enviro Solutions Private Limited. Let's go straight into our next category. We're looking at the CV Dealer of the Year. They are the eyes and limbs of the OEMs. Dealers today have fine-tuned their customer service, financing, spare part inventory management, demand forecasting, and brand promotion to exude much professionalism. They're at the helm of the rising showroom experience in the CV sector, in line with the OEMs, offering long-term maintenance contracts and time-guaranteed repairs. Let's take a look at the nominees.
The nominations for the category CV Dealer of the Year are Kamal Motors, TVS Mobility Private Limited, Hora Motors Private Limited, Randhava Motors,
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the winner right on your screens. And now it's time for the most coveted set of awards for this edition. We are looking at the CV Man of the Year. Each is a leader and achiever in their own right and makes it look easier than it actually is. The man at the helm of affairs brings along a very distinct style of functioning, fine-tuned over decades of sweat and toil, and with constant trial and error to get it ultimately right. The ability to conquer challenges and take along a capable team that believes in itself is the team that delivers. Certain to be an inspiration for many, it is the ability to find ways out of unprecedented situations and get the organization back on the growth path in line with the long-term vision of the organization is what makes our CV Man of the Year. To know of which proposition the jury favored, may I now request Mr. Satish Sharma, President, APMEA Apollo Tyres Ltd, to declare the winner.
This is the big award, the CV Man of the Year. None other than a good friend of mine, Girish Vaugh, Executive Director, Tata Motors. Congratulations, Girish. Congratulations, Tata Motors.
It gives me great pleasure to announce the Man of the Year for the CV industry. The winner is, of course, Mr. Girish Vaugh of Tata Motors. He deserves a double applause because, to my mind, he's the only person in the history of the CV Awards who's won this award twice.
Thank you so much. I think this award, CV Man of the Year, I must say that a leader is as good as the team. So this one also goes to the entire team for whatever they have done during the past 1 year. I must also add that I think the inspiration behind this has been our group chairman, Mr. Chandrasekharan. I think he's the one who has been pushing us to explore the art of the possible and also see what we can do and how we can achieve our aspirations. So following the footsteps that he has led for us, I think this is what we've been able to do. So thank you once again, and I dedicate this to all the employees within Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles. Thank you.
Our next category is the CV Maker of the Year. India is undeniably a diverse market with an appetite for constant innovation and custom solutions. It is challenging as well as highly customer-driven. This ensures ample demand for technology and optimum utilization of resources. Despite being global, a manufacturer must look beyond plug-and-play solutions and cater to local duty cycle requirements. Once in the driver's seat, it is hard to dethrone the CV maker and write a new success story. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's see who the nominees are.
The nominations for the category CV Maker of the Year are Ashok Leyland Limited, Daimler India Commercial Vehicles Private Limited, Tata Motors Limited, VE Commercial Vehicles Limited.
Could I now request Mr. Hoshang Bilimoria, founder and mentor at Next Gen Publishing Private Limited, to come and declare the winner.
To win the Manufacturer of the Year, our winner this year has looked at every aspect of what the Indian CV customer desires and got it right. I would like to congratulate the Apollo CV Awards 2022 CV Maker of the Year. Any guesses? Well, it's none other than Tata Motors Limited.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Let me first express my thanks to Apollo CV Magazine and the entire team of jury who found us worth for this award. It's a matter of immense pride and also pleasure to take this award on behalf of the Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles team for the 4th year in succession. I think we must thank all our customers who have reposed their faith in our BS6 products as well as the new set of services under Sampurna Seva. It is also a matter of joy for us that it's just not Tata Motors but all the channel partners, dealers, distributors and suppliers. It's all their efforts and this recognition goes to all of them. I must say that since the BS6 transition, I think our products have been doing pretty well, and let me once again thank all the customers for that. There are a few areas where we have improved the performance, whether it is the total cost of ownership, whether it is comfort and convenience, or finally connectivity. On the connected truck, I think we have come up with the Fleet Edge platform, which is helping the customers not just to manage their truck, but manage the entire fleet, manage the freight, and finally manage the business. And finally, I think I'm also very proud to talk about the initial strides that we have done in the electrification to support government sustainability drive. So in the buses, I think we have been doing pretty well by supplying more than 600 buses which are running on Indian roads and covered more than 8 million cumulative kilometers. So overall, I think it has been a very good year, although we have been coming out of very challenging times. Finally, let me add, I think this award goes to all our employees who in this challenging period during COVID have put in their best to ensure that this award comes to us. Thank you very much.
It's now time, ladies and gentlemen, to find out the winner of the most awaited category of the year. We are looking at CV of the Year. They are capable and powerful. They can take on the competition and make a mark. With a lethal combination of legacy, modern and relevant technology, and real-world performance as a testimony of a deep market understanding to make it to the top, to win this coveted title, the nominee, well, they have to tick all the boxes. And I have to tell you, there are many of them.
The nominations for the category CV of the Year are Euler High Load EV, Tata Yodha 4x4, Mahindra Furio 7 Range, iShare Pro 2114 XP CNG, Ashok Leyland Avatar 2820 6x4 RMC, Ashok Leyland Avatar 4825 BGS Tipper 10x4 DTLA, Bharat Benz 5428 TT, iShare Skyline Pro Staff 3010 LCNG, Force Motors Ambulance Range, Volvo 9400 13.5 meter B8R 4x2 coach.
So to know of which proposition the jury favoured, can I now please request Mr. Satish Sharma, President, APMEA Apollo Tyres Ltd, to come and declare the winner.
Now let's look at the CV of the year. And this one goes to iShare Pro 2114 XP CNG. Congratulations, iShare Motors.
This is what we strive for at the end of a year as part of Team Next Gen and with our SE partners, Apollo CV Awards, to highlight that one product which shapes the market, and it is none other than iShare Pro 2114 HP CNG as your CV of the year. Thank you so much. To join Mr. Vinod Agarwal, MD and CEO at VCV, I would like to invite the Team Apollo waiting there. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir.
And this is in line with our slogan that future of Indian trucking and shaping the future of the bus industry. So both truck and bus we are modernizing, and that's what we are going to create, that future of Indian trucking and shaping the future of bus. And of course this award is dedicated to all our teams, especially our teams who are not present here today. Product development, who have done wonders with all these developments, taken the lead in our CNG development, and we were the pioneers for migrating the industry into the CNG, which is very, very beneficial for the customers, and today 40 to 45% of the industry is already migrated to CNG. And then of course we have the widest range of engines, CNG engines as well as the diesel, and I think we have 5 different types of base engines for the diesel and 2 CNG. So we have the widest range, and then of course all the other teams, manufacturing or sales and marketing, brand. So everyone has contributed, everyone in the organization to win this award. So this is dedicated to all of you.
This brings us to the end of our program. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for taking time out to be here, and more importantly, to be a part of this. My name is Frisia, and here's wishing all our winners once again a big, big congratulations. We'll catch you again next year.